So a couple of days ago, I did a video on some news that came out of a corporate strategy meeting that Sony had, and there were a couple of pieces of information in there that I thought that were interesting, so I highlighted those, like acknowledging that PS4 is entering the end of its lifespan. That's what Sony said about the PlayStation, and then I speculated at the end that I believe PlayStation 5 is going to likely come around 2020. And I listed a couple of reasons why. But shortly after publishing that video, multiple news sites started running with the story that Sony said PlayStation is at least 3 years away. And then tons of people started jumping on that train, running with that headline that PlayStation 5 isn't going to launch until at least 2021. And this all kind of got started because of one author at the Wall Street Journal, and he ran with this headline, but the author kind of has a track record of not exactly getting all his facts right. It seems to happen in the media quite a bit. And so there was another reporter there from Bloomberg who actually sat in on the same meeting and who called out this reporter and the Wall Street Journal saying, look, I was there, I was listening to everything you were, and he did not claim that PlayStation 5 is at least 3 years away. And so they're saying that the publication got it wrong. Sony was never talking about PlayStation 5 being 3 years away. The 3-year plan wasn't about PlayStation. It was a corporate strategy meeting for Sony as a business, which includes Sony games, but it also includes music, imaging, mobile, and semiconductors. It includes the entire Sony business. So companies are going to have short-term goals, they're going to have mid-term goals, which is what this meeting was about, the next 3 years, and then they're going to have long-term goals. So the focus was on the mid-term strategy. And Bloomberg also points out that Sony is forecasting a big drop in profit for PlayStation, which normally coincides with a launch, because that means during that time they're going to be making a lot of major investments, including into the new hardware as well as new software. And the Bloomberg writer actually agrees that we're likely to see a PlayStation 5 by 2020. So he takes those numbers as meaning that's actual time for the launch. And 2020 would put the time span of the PS4 at 7 years, which would also be in line with previous PlayStation models. If they pushed it all the way back to 2021, that would mean that the PlayStation 4 would be the longest running console in Sony's history, as far as what I can tell. I looked up the numbers and it appears that everything is 7 years and under. So I just don't see them waiting that long. In other news, Sony has stated that they are possibly looking at releasing a PlayStation Classic. Just like how Nintendo is apparently re-releasing every console they ever had. And they've had a lot of success with it because a lot of people grew up on that console. There's a lot of classic games on that model. Looks like Sony is thinking about possibly launching their own with the PlayStation Classic. The biggest difference I can see is, people are asking for Nintendo Classics. I'm not sure how many people are asking for the PlayStation Classic. And then finally, it appears that Sony is looking to possibly get back into the portable gaming business. PlayStation Vita is dead now, it's vintage, and Sony's lack of support has left a big gaping hole that Nintendo just walked through and took full advantage of with the Switch. But in that same meeting that all this news is coming out of, Sony's chief executive officer talked as if their next portable gaming machine could be closely integrated with the next console. So if you want to read about all these stories and more, check out VGN, videogamesnews.com, and post your thoughts down below. That does it for me, The Red Dragon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.